Hello everyone, today we're going to be unboxing another figurine. Here we have is a figurine from the manufacturer MegaHouse. A figurine part of their Lucrea line is a PVC figure of the characters Misumi Nagisa and Yukishiro Honoka, known as Cure Black and Cure White, including Mepple and Mipple from the franchise Futari wa Pretty Cure or Pretty Cure. So before we take the figurines out of their packaging, just in case you didn't know, Futari wa Pretty Cure or We Are Pretty Cure is an anime original TV series which originally aired in 2004 by studios Toei Animations, this being the first installment of the Pretty Cure franchise. Futari wa Pretty Cure has a sequel anime called Futari wa Pretty Cure Maxo Hato, which was aired in 2005 by the same studio Toei Animations. The Precure Maxo Hato series has gotten two movie adaptations called Precure Max Heart Movie 1 and Movie 2, Yukizora no Tomodachi, or The Friends of the Snow Sky, which both Futari wa Precure and Max Heart have gotten a manga adaptation which was published in Kodansha's Nakoyoshi, which follows the same storyline, which was written by Izumi Todo, which isn't actually a person but a pen name for the production group or staff in Toei Animations, who have done other works like Ashita no Naja and Ojamaju Doremi, which are also two great series that I recommend you to watch. And the artwork is by Kamikita Futago, that are actually two mangakas and twin sisters under this pseudonym, one named Kamikita Jitsuna and the other Kamikita Kizuna. As stated earlier, this is one of the many other Pretty Cure or Precure for short in the franchise, the original start of the franchise, and each Pretty Cure has its own story. There are, at the making of this video, 22 Precure shows, excluding the specials or movies that have come out for the franchise. Have a lot of other Pretty Cure characters, but we are going to focus on Futari wa Pretty Cure series in this video. This is the box rotating in 360, a really detailed box that I kind of really do like. You kind of see a little bit of shiny gold on it and it's quite pretty, no pun intended. I'm quite excited to unbox this figurine, so I don't want to hold you guys back for too long. So let's take Cure Black and Cure White out of their packaging and see how they look. Before we continue on, I did notice there's actually a twist tie on this, and there's actually no tape around it, so I'm guessing this was what actually is holding the Pretty Cure top and bottom of the plastic together. So you're gonna have to like untie that and actually take it out just to take the figurine's top layer out. So before you force it out, just make sure you untie this so you don't damage your box. So here we have is Cure Black and Cure White straight out of their packaging. As you can see here, they're actually stuck together, and I think they are connected to their base. So as you can see here, as I remove this, they're actually connected together, which fits with the storyline because, you know, they are holding hands to power up. So I did notice that there is no actual paper instructions guide. So as you can see here, there's a little box here with a QR code that does have a digital instructions guide. So popping up that guide here in the background, as you can see here, it is all in Japanese, but it's quite simplistic, nothing really too difficult. As you can see, a large standee and a small standee, which goes dedicated for Cure Black, and Cure White, which is the large one. Nothing really too difficult, it's quite easy to follow, so it's nothing like you need to know Japanese to read this, but it's still there. And here we have is a QR code for a questionnaire, which I don't know if that's supposed to be just for me, so I'm not going to show it here. Here we have are the two Pretty Cures, or Cure Black and Cure White, or Honoka and Nagisa. So as you can see here, they are connected to the base, and I'm gonna try my best to show you guys the figurines in full. But as you can see here at the bottom, it does show you information such as MegaHouse and animations on the top here, and other information there. As you can see at the bottom, we do get its 2 view here, so the figurines are connected with screws onto the base. So I'm guessing you can unscrew this and pop them off if you would like, but I'm not really gonna do that because I want to avoid damaging the figurine. So I'm just gonna keep it as it is right now. So here we have is the base here, which has like a concrete look to it, which I think kind of represents a good, I mean, you guys know my thoughts about, you know, concrete and cement when it comes to bases, but I think this one fits a little bit more. Like you can see here, these little metallic rods that are coming out the cement here are quite flexible, so you don't need to really worry about that. But I think this represents really great because, you know, they're fighting in the streets of Tokyo and stuff, or fighting in the streets, and which makes sense, which is why we see all this concrete while they're fighting the Zakenas, you know. And the top here is quite flat, but it's quite detailed around the rocky cement looking, so I think they did a pretty great paint job around there. But here, getting a closer shot here of their feet area, I think this is Honoka's right foot and Nagisa's left foot. As you can see here, we have his Honoka or Cure White's foot area here, and you can see her frills on the bottom of her shoe area or boots, which looks quite detailed. Here on the side we have his Nagisa's or Cure Black's foot, and I do really like the way you can see here her black dress here goes underneath the boot, which is quite stylish, and I really do like the way it looks. But it's kind of hard to show you guys how it looks closely because, you know, it's connected to the base, but I think they did quite really detailed work here on the folds on the top of her boot area with her fabric here. You can kind of see a quite nice paint job here with a more of a darker toned black with a lighter, more purplish type looking light black, but it's not really pure black. It's just like a mixture of purple and black, or maybe dark purple. But you can kind of see here, same thing with Cure White's leg here in the area is also quite detailed as well. When the lighting hits, you kind of see it kind of gives a little bit more of a popping feel to it. And they're both stylized differently. While Cure White has more of a frill look, while Nagisa's or Cure Black has a more of a straight, like, how do I say, like, I don't know how to I don't know the right wording for it, but you can kind of see here by her knee bend here, it's quite detailed. They did a great shading work there. Nagisa's foot, I mean, it's kind of hard to tell because her skin is a little bit more pale compared to Nagisa. Her skin's a little bit more tan, while Honoka is more white, which makes sense because Nagisa is more athletic than Honoka. So here at the bottom we do get is more frill work here around her dress area, and at the back here we do get is more of a underskirt shorts. I think that's what you call them, those pants underneath the skirt, which you kind of see, it kind of gives you you can kind of tell by looking at the characters that they're both different styles of like one's more tomboyish while the other one's more feminine. I don't know if that's the right wording to use, but I think it really fits the way they're stylized here with the two different clothing styles. Same work here as her Honoka, or as Nagisa's foot. Right here we got a better look at her boot area, which I kind of like this look here where you see the fabric going underneath the boot and not really touching the bottom of it, which is quite great stylistic work. It's funny because I actually bought a manga book that comes with details of their dressing and stuff, which I'll probably show you guys later in the video about that. And here we have is the frills here on her foot here, same thing, and same, you know, I think a little bit different of so you can see the fabric fold is quite detailed as well, and I think they did a pretty nice job here. So here we have is their skirt area, where you can kind of see Nagisa's skirt actually waving or flowing in the air a little bit more than Honoka's her dress, and we can kind of see here she has quite a little bit of more frills here at the bottom. So right here you can kind of see the holster of where Cure Black keeps Mepple in the phone here, which is pretty cute. But do be careful because I noticed this is a little bit lifted upwards, so I feel like if you push against the phone holster, it's going to snap, so be careful with that. But you can kind of see here, I think they did a pretty great job. Where you see Nagisa's stomach area, you can kind of see a little bit more detail than Cure White or Honoka's. Then you kind of see her holster here where she keeps Mipple. Sorry, I got a little bit confused with the names. Just be careful with these two here, because I feel like you can actually snap them off of their skirts. So if you do own this, just be careful when handling. Don't really grab it from that area. And you can kind of see her frills of Cure White's is a little bit more different. You can kind of see a little bit of holes on each of the tips of her skirt area there, or her dress. While here at this angle, you can kind of see it does get really close to Cure Black, so that's probably why there was a protecting sheet there when I first took it out. So be careful when moving. You don't want to smudge the paint in between Cure Whites and Cure Blacks. It's kind of hard to show you guys the back here because she has long hair, but you kind of see all the way to the tips of their hands. You can kind of see they are holding each other's hands with a firm grip, which you cannot separate, which makes sense. But besides that, you can kind of see they are locked together. So even if you take these out of their base, I don't think you can take these two apart, which also fits with the storyline. But yeah, you kind of see here, I think they did great detail work. I really love her Nagisa's hand here, where you kind of see there it goes up and then kind of shows her a little bit of her top arm here, which is the same thing with Honoka, but I think it's because I'm a little bit like Nagisa more than Honoka. But here we have is the top of her dress with her hair stylized, and with Cure White or Honoka's hair stylized as well, fitting their own personalities. Here we have is a closer look on their outstretched hands. We see their ears, her earrings, and her little orange style hair, which is actually quite detailed. You can kind of see her rigid lines and a little bit of orange towards the middle and a more darker towards the tips. Here we go is a closer shot of their front area. We can kind of see their bow ties, which since they're jumping forwards, you can kind of see it flowing in the air. And here we have is Nagisa or Cure Black's face here, which I think they did a pretty great paint job here on their face. And I know it's kind of hard to show, but I'm doing my best here. But you can kind of see they do have heart earrings. And you can kind of see Nagisa, which she's my favorite Pretty Cure in this version of Futari wa or Pretty Cure. I think it's because of the way she's stylized. And you can see their hair flowing in the wind. Here we have is Honoka or Cure White. You can see here, I think they did also a pretty great paint job here, where she's has more of a blue style look to it. And you kind of see the tip of their noses here from the side. And I think it's quite really great sculpt work, and I think they did a pretty nice job. They are missing their hands, which they have outstretched holding Mepple and Mipple, and yeah, I think they did a pretty nice job. Here we go back to Honoka or Cure White. You can kind of see their hair flowing in the wind, because like I said, I think in this pose they're pushing themselves forward, so it makes sense that their hair is flowing in the wind. Great detail work here. You kind of see the bluish, darkish blue during all the way to the tips, and to the shading is great as well. And I think they added a lot of lines to her hair, so it gives it a little bit more detailed sculpt of the hair. The tips are flexible, but as I say, usually with long hair like this, just be careful when handling it. You don't want to accidentally, snap one of these, and then you're like, damn, I should have never done that. But I'm really liking the way this sculpt looks. It looks really great. It really captures the Pretty Cure, or the main tone of it, them holding each other's hands and getting powered up that way. And I think this is a really great, I'm really liking this. So I really like the way this sculpt came out. So let's just move on to Mepple and Mipple. So here we have is Cure White or Honoka's hand. As you can see here, it matches her dress here with the white frills on tips and a little bit of a glossy finish towards the heart area. And you can kind of see her hands, a little bit detailed, a little bit of pink by her nails. Here we have is Mipple, and it's quite cute, a little small phone, which is, like I said, it's quite cute. You can see she's giving you a little wink. And do be careful because the tips of her fingers are slightly on the phone. So I feel like you can actually, if you drop this or you do pull on it, it's gonna break the phone on her fingers. So do be careful when you are handling this. And make sure you don't apply too much pressure when you are connecting this. So let's just connect this to Pure White. So here we have is Pure Black's hand, and here's a closer shot again. You can kind of see it more of a flat end to each of her glove here, which actually noticing it this close with her hand, I kind of see a little bit of glittery or a little bit of sparkling around the black layers, which is quite detailed. As you can see here, she has gloves in her hands, so you can kind of see her tips only holding onto the phone as well, just like Honoka. And we get is Mepple, and you can kind of he's smiling, which is also quite cute, which I really do like. As like I stated before, do be careful with this because since they are on the tips of her fingers, there's a possibility that this can snap or break. So do be careful when you are handling this. It's actually quite cute and a little bit quite detailed as well for being like little tiny phone, flip phone I should say. So let's just connect this to Pure Black. So as we saw in the assembly instructions guide or in the package, we do get a large stand and we also get a small stand, which the larger one goes on Pure White. As you can see, it's supposed to go right here under her foot, and the smaller one is supposed to be for Pure Black or Nagisa, which is a little bit strange because here we have is the larger one that fits with Honoka, but when I put it here with Pure Black or Nagisa, it doesn't really touch the figure, as you can see here, which, I mean, I'm still gonna have it there prop just in case it starts to lean or anything, but it doesn't really touch the figurine, so that's just it, I guess. So as I stated earlier in the video, I wanted to show you guys this little booklet I do have our own, which is supposed to be the Costume Chronicles, which I think this was supposed to be released during the 15th anniversary of the series, of the Pretty Cure series, and I'm not going to show you too much because I don't know if I'm able to, but as you can see, closer shot here, we do get this little timeline here during the 15th anniversary. I think this is 2018 to that recent Pretty Cure, so it's not all the 22 complete, it's just a couple that they did have during the time. As you can see here, all the Pretty Cures all around here, so there is a lot. But you can kind of see here we have his Nagisa and Honoka, which is the original two from the franchise. But going up to the main spot I did want to show you guys is right here. We do get is a little bit more detail work on their clothing for Pure White and Pure Black, which I know there's Luminous there, but I'm not gonna show you Luminous because I don't think we don't really have it on this figure form. But here we have is Nagisa. As you can see here, it does have both Max Heart and the regular Pretty Cure actually have two. This is a slightly different variant. As you can see here, one we can see here is from the first version, and then Max Heart. Same thing with Nagisa or Pure White. Her costume or outfit is actually different here. You can kind of see a difference between the original look and then Max Heart's style, as you can see here. Judging by, as you can see, the clothing, I think this figurine is based off their original first version of their outfits. And here back, I did want to show you guys this little look here where it shows their costumes in real life, which is pretty nice as well. But besides that, I did want to show you guys this is quite really detailed book about their costumes or outfits, which is pretty neat. Alright guys, so that was MegaHouse's Lucrea PVC figure of the characters Nagisa and Honoka, or Cure Black and Cure White, including Mepple and Mipple from the series Futari wa Pretty Cure or Pretty Cure. I don't know if it was specifically stated on their website. I did check, but I didn't see it. I think this figurine was made in celebration of Pretty Cure's 20th anniversary, which I believe was last year of 2024, because I do remember them announcing a Pretty Cure-genic project in celebration of the 20th anniversary last year in 2024. I'll put a picture of what I'm talking about. Last year, so I think this figurine was announced in 2024 but released this year. But I don't think on the box it does say 20th anniversary or anything, but I'm just going to assume that. But I really do like this because I know MegaHouse did release a original Pretty Cure figurine, but I think this one captures the overall theme of the franchise, especially with them holding each other's hands, because you know they hold their hands in the show and to get stronger, which really fits. So which is why I really love this figurine. And also it includes Mepple and Mipple on the phone, which is pretty cute as well. But from the ones that I see and I had to choose like my favorite, I think I'm gonna have to go with, yes, Pretty Cure 5 to be like my favorite. But the original Futari wa Pretty Cure will always have a special place in my heart, and I really do like this franchise as well. This is like my second top if I had to rate them. But if you have not seen the Pretty Cure franchise, I highly recommend it. It's such a fun watch. And some episodes are a little bit hard, like, man, that was deep. But not all of them, just some. But anyways guys, that's going to be the end of this one. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll leave you guys off with close-up shots and the figurine rotating in 360. So, but that's going to be the end of this one guys, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.